Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It's me again, Maya.
And I'm still Josh, and this is episode 2 of Between the Verses, a show where we take a little time to talk about the Bible and how it connects with our everyday life.
Goodness, episode 2 already.
Yeah, already. And today, well, we're going to go a little dark.
It's too soon, Josh, too soon.
I know, people are probably expecting something gentle and comforting, and we're just jumping right in with fear, terror, angels appearing out of nowhere.
Well, to be fair, if you open the Bible at random, there's a pretty decent chance something alarming is happening.
Burning bushes and voices from the sky, right?
And people just falling to the ground in desperation because they're so afraid.
Which raises a really fair question. Why does a book that's supposed to guide and comfort people seem pretty scary a lot of the time?
And more importantly, and this is what we're really digging into today, why do some specific phrases keep appearing over and over again?
We are, of course, talking about do not be afraid.
Or fear not, or take courage.
Often they're said very gently, almost like a whisper. But other times, they're literally shouted by an angel who has just materialized in midair.
And make no bones about it, an experience like that would definitely require some reassurance.
A lot of reassurance. So today we want to talk about fear in the Bible, why it's there, why these moments can feel so dark or overwhelming.
But also how those moments almost always seem to point toward light rather than away from it.
That's a good way to put it. Fear isn't avoided in the Bible. It's not glossed over. It's addressed head on, directly. But then it's gently redirected.
There are so many relevant passages we could point to, but maybe one of the clearest examples is the story of the shepherds who are confronted by an angel and told to go to Bethlehem to see a certain baby lying in a manger.
Yeah, a classic. They're out in the field, it's night, already dark, it's quiet, probably cold.
Just a normal, boring night on the job, you know?
And it's important to remember who these shepherds were. In that society, they were pretty much outsiders, unclean according to the religious laws. They couldn't testify in court. They were seen as unreliable, pretty low on the social ladder.
So for the first announcement of this paradigm-shifting event, the message isn't taken to the powerful or the religious elites in the temple. It's taken to a group of guys on the night shift who everyone else looks down on.
That choice is intentional. It says right from the start that this message is for everyone, especially those who think they're on the outside looking in.
That's right. And then suddenly an angel appears, which we tend to picture as this serene and glowing, beautiful thing from a Christmas card. But the text is very clear. It tells us the shepherds were terrified. The Greek word used there is phobio, where we get phobia. It's not just startled, it's mortal terror.
They are absolutely terrified. And what is the very first thing the angel says? It's not an explanation. It's not a set of instructions.
It's just, do not be afraid.
So before anything else happens, before any explanation at all, fear has to be met before anything else can land.
Met and overcome before understanding.
Exactly. The shepherd's fear isn't a sign that something has gone wrong or that they've made a mistake. It's a sign that something important is happening, something bigger than what they expected on a regular Tuesday night.
And when the angel reassuringly says, do not be afraid, it isn't meant to erase that fear either. It's meant to make room for what comes next.
It's almost like fear sits in a doorway. On one side is what the shepherds knew, what was safe and predictable. You know, sheep, fields, night sky. And on the other is, well, the unknown, hard questions, confusion, and a mysterious, miraculous calling.
But the Bible doesn't shame people for standing at that doorway and feeling afraid. It just keeps saying, don't let the fear decide for you. Don't let it be the one that closes the door.
And that feels so incredibly relevant to everyday life, doesn't it? Even though most of us, I assume, aren't encountering angels in fields on a regular basis. I mean, we all recognize those moments, don't we? When your stomach just drops. That sudden rush where fear or apprehension grabs hold of you before you've even had time to think it through.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be something dramatic. Fear can show up in ordinary places. in the simple decisions we keep putting off or the truths we avoid, in those anxious thoughts that linger just beneath the surface.
But those are just thoughts, things we're imagining. But then there are moments where fear isn't hypothetical anymore. Something actually happens, like getting an unexpected call from a doctor. Know what I mean? We've all been there.
And you got that call?
I did, a couple of years ago. Well, technically, it was a missed call from my doctor's office. And when I called back, the nurse was being really vague. She just said, "The doctor wants to discuss your test results. Can you come in?" And that was it. My mind just went straight to the worst possible place.
I can imagine.
Yeah, it was pure fear. And what surprised me was how fast it arrived. I hadn't been worrying before that moment, but suddenly, my body reacted before my brain could catch up.
Fear can show up instantly, like a first responder, often before we even know why we're afraid.
It's truly physical. Your chest tightens, your thoughts race, you replay conversations, you imagine outcomes that haven't even happened yet.
It's exhausting, but also totally normal to feel that way.
Yeah. Anyway, everything turned out to be okay in the end. I had to do some repeat tests and they came back normal. But those few days of waiting were nerve-wracking. I found it really hard to focus. I'd be halfway through something and realize I wasn't actually present at all.
And anyone would feel anxious in that situation. And I think that's important to say out loud. Anxiety isn't a failure. Fear doesn't mean you're doing life wrong. It's just a normal human response.
Breathing exercises did not help. At least they didn't help me.
Well, there's only so much you can do to calm yourself down in certain situations. There isn't always a neat or correct way to deal with stress, which is why this conversation matters to me, because when the Bible says, "Do not be afraid," it's easy to hear that as a command, like you're supposed to just switch fear off. But you're not. You can't.
Yeah, it's not denial. It's not pretending you're fine when you're not.
And it's not God saying, "Stop feeling this." It's more like God stepping into the fear with you, saying, "I see this. I know exactly where you are right now, and I'm here."
Your mind can still spiral a bit. Your body can still react, and your fear won't just vanish into thin air. But you won't be facing it alone.
Which changes the meaning completely. It turns "do not be afraid" from pressure into presence. I mean, the shepherds were afraid. Mary was afraid. The disciples were afraid. But God's instruction isn't "don't feel fear." It's "don't let fear have the final word."
Absolutely. I think sometimes we wrongly assume that faith is the absence of fear. But the Bible shows it more as movement through fear. It's forward motion, even when you're trembling.
And also, let's just be completely honest. If an angel appeared in this room right now,
I would scream 100% and run for the hills or hide under my desk.
I would absolutely scream. And then I would need several minutes and probably a strong cup of coffee before I could process any kind of divine message.
Which is maybe why the angels always have to start with that reassurance. They know their audience, right?
I think what really stands out to me in these kind of scary and even ominous moments in the Bible is that the darkness is never the destination, it's just the backdrop.
Yeah, the message arrives in the dark, but it's always pointing beyond it. The shepherds don't stay in the field paralyzed, they move toward the light.
And this is where interpretation matters so much. Some people read these moments literally, others metaphorically.
But either way, the emotional truth is the same. Fear appears, then meaning follows, and hopefully understanding, enlightenment, wisdom.
So what does "do not be afraid" look like today, this week, for you, Josh?
Well, it could be pausing for a breath before reacting to bad news.
Because the news might not even be that bad anyway.
Right. Choosing to trust that things will work out instead of spiraling into a worst-case scenario.
Or just reminding yourself that feeling fear doesn't automatically mean you're in danger. Sometimes it just means that you're on the edge of something that will teach you or help you grow.
The Bible doesn't erase fear from the human story. Frankly, it walks straight into it.
And then it lights a small lamp. Not a spotlight, not instant clarity, just enough light for the next step.
Good advice. So, to all of you listening to us out there, what we want to get across to you is if fear shows up in your life this week, maybe don't try to push it away.
Yeah, just pause, get curious. Ask what it might be pointing toward. And remember, you're not alone. Because as we said, when you look through the Bible, fear shows up everywhere.
There's Moses standing in front of a burning bush, convinced he's the wrong person for the task.
There's David facing a giant with nothing but a sling.
There's Jonah running in the opposite direction because he's afraid of what obedience might cost him.
The disciples getting caught in a storm, certain their boat is about to sink.
Daniel surrounded by all those hungry lions.
There's the empty tomb, where fear and confusion come before Mary's understanding and joy.
But in every one of those stories, fear isn't where things end. It's part of the moment before courage. The Bible never pretends that fear won't find us. It just reminds us again and again that fear is not a dead end. It's a storm before the calm. It's part of a journey we're all taking, just a moment along the path. And yeah, so often it's followed by reassurance, by presence, and by the quiet reminder we keep hearing echoed through the pages of Scripture. Do not be afraid.
So fear not, Josh. Fear not and take courage.
I will. And I hope anyone listening out there will too.
All right, that's about it for today. We like to keep them short and sweet.
Thanks so much for spending time with us as always. And we'll see you next time on Between the Verses.